Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. My Friday stream got flipped on the YouTube end between Wednesday and Friday. I apologize for that. Let me know in the chat. I should be in the right one here. I think we're good though. Let me just refresh the page on YouTube. I apologize for this. I can't believe that we're still having a growing pain of sorts. Oh my God, it's still the wrong one. All right, guys, let me start a new one. I apologize. All right. We're just going to make this the chat until I figure out what in the world is happening. Okay, let's do it. Okay. I just put that in the chat, and then let me just send out a chat to everybody else. I hope they migrate over. I see the count slowly upticking. While I have you guys on, it's funny enough that I recall one episode in the morning streams when Michael Smerconish used to do them, that there was some audio issue. So it's like 3, 2, 1, go. And then Michael goes, "Are we live?" And then it buzzed in and out. He goes, "Scrap it." And I remember seeing how pissed he was. Yeah, I remember that in particular. So here's this. I have to send out a link to my email list. Just okay, it is what it is. Hoping that makes it to everybody. All right, we're at 17. Okay, great. So, I mean, it's less than we started off with, but I apologize for that technical snafu. For some reason, my streaming software, I don't know, it unlinked to the date of stream with the stream that I selected. So, anyways, I guess we have an abridged version today. I hope you hear it in my voice. I am, how far am I away from the monitor? Well, see, the monitor is about 2 feet away, Sean. Let me put that comment on the screen. My monitor is about 2 feet away. The camera, though, camera's about 3. Okay. Ahem 3, I would love to know what you're talking about as far as Seinfeld. Let me get to the good stuff. Again, apologies for the lateness. I can't believe that over a month in, I'm still dealing with these snafus, but part of the process, right? I wanted to start today on opining, I recently got into that word because since, that's, I guess, what I do now. Where is the headline? Wow, it's not even in the Smerconish newsletter. Okay. Trump is looking, or broadly speaking, the Trump Justice Department is looking to indict those legislators, or I guess those legislators in the video saying that you may disobey illegal orders. Most, I guess, prominent in that story is Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona. I'm going to quote Eli Honig when he was going for the indictment of Don Lemon. The way the Trump Justice Department proceeds with things is, if they go for an indictment and it doesn't work, try again. With Don Lemon, it worked. Again, the point is not to actually convict or pursue justice. The point is, you are indicted, I'm going to give you that headache, and now you, sir, the defendant, have a headache to deal with in terms of legal fees, reputation. You have to check in a box to say that you have a criminal history, and so on and so on. Victor Perkins, good morning. Again, apologies for the confusion here. So I just think it's so petty what the Trump Justice Department is doing in terms of pursuing the arrest warrants, or I'm sorry, in terms of indicting those that they simply disagree with or don't like. I mean, if I remember correctly, Secretary Hegseth was saying that he was going to try to recall Mark Kelly on some sort of reserve duty for hearings to see what kind of disciplinary measures can be taken. No, I don't need a headline. I had I believe an ABC headline prepared, but you know what? I was going to have it prepared for this stream. I can't believe this. Smerconish should put it at least in my version of the newsletter. It's worth noting that I get it to my Gmail account, and I know that's specifically truncated, but it's amazing to me that it's not in there. I'm looking at the expanded headlines, and wow, I don't see it here either. Okay. And then, it's something, and then another story that unraveled earlier today. El Paso airspace closed for 10 days because of special security reasons. It happened today. I was up actually chatting with some of you guys at about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And that's when it unraveled. Really interesting. I wonder what's going on there. Another thing I'd like to opine on. I've been thinking more and more about the Bad Bunny performance in the Super Bowl. You might think that's like, yesteryear's news by this point. I went back and watched portions of it. It was an objectively good performance. But I think, like a lot else on TV, it became, I'll tell you the truth. Me as a parent, I wouldn't watch my children watching it. I wouldn't like the idea of my children watching it. The displays of the kinds of dances, and I mean, I wasn't. I wouldn't be comfortable with my children watching the halftime show. That's really where I'm at, and it's not only particular to this year. I think it's a good display of American culture, Puerto Rican culture, obviously, to be specific. I think that the segment Michael did with that professor of Puerto Rican studies or something like that was fantastic. It made me understand a lot more about the whole performance. But I guess it just wasn't to my liking, but that's okay. It's good for the NFL. I wouldn't let my children watch it. I wouldn't let my children watch a lot of things that I thought were okay watching as a kid. I'm part of a subscription that sends me children's books every month. And, I specifically have those books delivered to my office so that I can go through the books and make sure that there's no, I guess, triggering things there or things that I don't approve of as a parent being imposed on my children. So there's that. And I don't know, call me crazy, but Nancy, would my kids watch any halftime show? I mean, they might, but the recent halftime shows have gotten me uneasy. You see it on my face. It's questionable at the very best. More egregious would be Shakira, wouldn't it? Yeah. I'm not really so into showing them that so young anyway. That's just where I stand right now. It's just my personal reaction. As far as the books, I want to expose my kids to the right ideas at the right time. That's for sure. I don't want to withhold any ideas from my children, but I want to expose ideas to my children at the right time. That's just where I fall on that. Another thing I wanted to give my 2 cents about the backlash on Olympians who are speaking out in politics in Milan at the Olympics. If I forget the ski slope guy's name, but if all he said is, I'm here wearing the American flag, I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on there, and that's what makes us great, and that's why we're awesome, and that's why we have diversity of thought, freedom of speech, so on and so on, even though I would agree less and less so, by the way. But if all he ended off with was, and that's why we're great, or the greatest nation in the world, some version of American pride, he would have been untouchable in a good way. That would just come out of the. I mean, you can't go against him ending off on a higher note. He ended off on a low note. He ended off on a, well, America isn't so great, but I'm here. Imagine he ended off with, America's not going in the trend I'd like it to be right now. I have issues with some stuff that are going on, but guess what? America's a place where that change could be made. So let's have at it. And I'm happy to represent this country, and I'm about to play my heart out to win for those 50 stars and 13 stripes. I mean, who can argue with that? And then you might say to me, well, it was on the whim thing and he didn't have prepared statements. Well, if you're going political, you better have prepared statements. He has a platform and he's decided to strike a nerve that was very political, and he should have. Or deal with the consequences he's dealing with now. That's that. Last but definitely not, second to last, definitely not least. Robert, before I move on, I want to address your comment. He didn't bash, though, like people claim. What he said was fine. What he said was fine, but if he wanted less backlash, what he would have, could have, should have done is end on a higher note. So all the people who are there saying that he's anti-American or he anti-American, or his spirit isn't part of the team, and Trump unleashing whatever accusations he did against them. It could have been Trump. Let's put it this way: the anti-Olympic rhetoric could have been subsided a lot more if he ended off that with American pride and on a high note. That's for sure. So, and I see what you're saying. Let me move on to a couple other topics I want to hit so that I can get some comments in as well. Okay, Trump is opposing moves on the West Bank. Netanyahu is meeting with Trump today after meeting with Rubio and Witkoff yesterday. I'm wondering what options remain. What options remain for Iran? I mean, I don't hear of mass uprisings anymore. I think the internet is largely restored. What options remain, and what options remain in America's interests? We know, like I mentioned a few times here, Netanyahu and Israel, it's going to be the American punching bag when it comes to any action or retaliation when it comes to Iran. Again, I believe if America can secure a nuclear deal that promotes American national security, it is in their interest to do so. And if Trump wants to posture militarily to get Iran in the position that he needs to get them into, go for it. Now, if Iran is at a weaker state and Israel has an interest in dismantling its number one enemy in the region, and Netanyahu was pleading for American intervention and help, as an American, I'm not down to fight that war for Israel. If Israel wants to take action on its own, that's really up to Israel and any other conditions that they're obliged by. But as an American, I don't want to fight anyone else's wars, that's for sure. But again, if our interests are being represented, tell the American people, go to Congress. That's what that's there for, isn't it? Lastly, I got a copy. I didn't finish reading it. I got a copy of Josh Shapiro's book. It's funny enough, in the 2024 cycle, I read Ron DeSantis's book. I read Bernie Sanders' book. I read which other presidential candidates did I read? I read a lot of the presidential candidates' books. I've been getting more and more into it. I want to see how Josh Shapiro's book reads. I listened to the interview that Michael conducted yesterday with the governor. I do think in this incarnation of the Democratic Party, he won't make it. Not only because of the polarization and that Democratic and the primary process is catered to the extremes. First off, he's the number 2 right now. Newsom is the number 1 favorite. Second, he grew up loving Israel publicly. And you can't do that in the Democratic Party of today. I challenge anybody to tell me otherwise. Take what Pete Buttigieg said, and you see how his speech evolved in the recent what would you call it? I guess 8 months. And Buttigieg is another favorite of the party. We just look at his starting point and look at to where he came to. Look at how that issue affected the entire Harris campaign. I mean, and I think I'll do a sort of review of my reading of Shapiro's book. I mean, it's bound to hit a nerve, either me as a Jew or me as I like to think, politically nuanced guy, supportive of independent minds. You know, that's just my 2 cents about it. Let me take a few comments and apologize for the abridged version for today, but forces that be forces sometimes. Hamilton. We won't secure a nuclear deal with Iran. We tried this stick and we have no carrots to give. We have no way to influence without populists supporting an alternative. What I do think is in the American best national interest, of course, is a nuclear-free Iran. Of course. because then a nuclear Iran gets forces Saudi to get it, forces more nuclearization in the region. Pakistan and India already have it. I mean, it's not a good situation. Where I'll tell you, I guess, is if we strike government institutions and there is a takeover and we put the Shah back in, but the nuclear, or I'd even say the military institutions are downgraded to zero capability, I mean, that's, I guess, in America's best interest, but you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. And by alone, I mean unilaterally. I guess technically you could try the AUMF, authorized use of military force, because the IRGC is a terrorist organization and they're somewhat near the region of Afghanistan. Really the same justifications he's using for the boats in Venezuela. I mean, I guess, but you're going to need congressional approval for that. I don't think he'll get it. I think it'll be even worse to his waning popularity. But you need the American people's support there. But I do think the times of going to congressional approval for military action are done because of use of from presidents on both parties, by the way. I'm not getting you. I hope you're talking to Sean in your conversation there. I'm not getting you started on the NPT. That is something that I actually have a little bit of familiarity with, but that's a story for a different time. I'll take one more and we'll end it off for the day. Buttigieg is so well spoken. I rate him even higher than Shapiro at the podium. Buttigieg is well spoken. He's well spoken. He's smart, but he has a bigger problem than Shapiro in being gay. Would you rather be gay or Jewish? In a general election, I think Jewish, but I think both are dregs. Both are dregs. Unfortunately, both are dregs. I can't resist. Last one, and I mean it, right? One can love America and criticize. Yes, but if you want to minimize the criticism, only if you want to, you'll find a way to phrase it in a defensible light, I guess. So that's where I'm at. Ladies and gentlemen, again, apologies for the snafu. I'll have it fixed by Friday. I'll see you then, and wishing everybody stay warm, best of health.